Silence is a heavy, invisible blanket. The night knows everything I buried. The ceiling fan is spinning in that slow, hypnotic rhythm again. It's 2:14 a.m. The air in the room feels thick, like it's been recycled too many times, but I don't have the energy to reach over and open the window. To move feels like a betrayal of the stillness I've finally managed to manufacture. There was a moment today, at 4:30 p.m., to be precise, when the world shifted slightly on its axis. A message, a look, a realization that something I had been building or hoping for was quietly disintegrating. It wasn't a loud collapse. No shouting, no dramatic slamming of doors. Just a dull, hollow thud in the chest, the kind that vibrates through your ribs and settles somewhere deep in your stomach. Most people might call it sadness. I call it the numb out. My hands are resting on the cool fabric of the duvet, perfectly still. My breathing is rhythmic, controlled, mimicking the calm of someone who is sleeping soundly. But my brain? My brain is a frantic architect, constantly redrawing the floor plans of the day, trying to find the one loose brick that caused the whole wall to fall. I'm replaying the conversation, not because I want to change it, but because I'm searching for the exact syllable where things went wrong. Was it when I said I was fine? Was it when I hesitated? It's a peculiar kind of self-erasure. You sit there, feeling the weight of the rejection or the disappointment pressing down on your skin, and you make a conscious, quiet decision to tuck it away. You don't tell anyone. You don't even write it down. You just stand up, walk to the kitchen, and drink a glass of water, watching the sink faucet drip, plip, 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 as if the sound of leaking water is the only thing tethering you to reality. Then, you do the thing that people like me have perfected, you resume. You continue the dinner plans, you answer the emails, you ask others how their day was, and you pretend that your internal landscape hasn't just been flattened by a storm. It's not that you're lying to them, you're just curating a version of yourself that is easier for everyone to digest. You don't want to be the problem. You don't want to be the one whose sadness requires maintenance. So, you choose the path of least resistance. You become a master of the everything is fine mask. And the scary part isn't the pain itself, it's how quickly you become invisible to yourself. I find myself staring at the half-empty water bottle on my nightstand. The label is peeling slightly at the corner. I've been meaning to fix it for 3 days, but I just keep picking at the loose edge, watching it curl. It's a mindless, jagged little action, a physical manifestation of the fraying edges of my own patience. I'm not crying. I haven't cried in months. Crying feels like an admission of defeat, a surrender to the intensity of things. If I don't acknowledge the gravity of what hurts, maybe it doesn't actually exist. Maybe I can just sleep it into non-existence. There is a strange, cold comfort in the silence of the room. It's the only place where the pressure to perform drops away. Out there, in the light of day, I am a participant in a performance. I am the reliable one, the one who doesn't make waves, the one who listens more than they speak. But here, in the dark, I am just a person who is tired of carrying things that nobody else can see. I think about the people who love me. I know they would be there if I just reached out. But the act of explaining feels like a mountain I don't have the lungs to climb. To explain would mean to give the pain a shape, to let it breathe, to let it become real. And as long as it stays trapped in the attic of my mind, as long as I just shut my eyes and let the darkness swallow the day, I can maintain the illusion that I am intact. I shift my legs, adjusting the blanket to tuck it tighter around my shoulders. The sheets are starting to warm up from my body heat. Soon, the edge of consciousness will blur. The thoughts will lose their sharp, stinging edges and turn into the soft, incoherent static of dreams. That is the goal. To bypass the processing, to skip the grieving, to simply bypass the human requirement of acknowledging that I am hurt. It's an efficient system, really. The body learns that it is safer to hibernate than to bleed. It learns that if you go quiet long enough, the world eventually stops expecting you to be anything other than exactly what it needs you to be. The clock changes to 2:15 a.m. 1 more minute gone. The house is completely still now. The refrigerator hums in the kitchen, a low, mechanical drone that sounds like a companion in the void. I watch the shadows of the tree branches outside dancing against the curtain, rhythmic and indifferent to my existence. I am not looking for a resolution. I'm not looking for an epiphany that changes everything. I just want the morning to come so I can start the cycle again, so I can put on the expression I wore yesterday, and so I can pretend that I didn't spend the night measuring the depth of my own solitude. I close my eyes. The weight is still there, resting on my chest like a heavy book I'm not yet ready to read. Maybe tomorrow. Or maybe never. For now, there is only the sleep, and the quiet, and the very slow, very steady act of disappearing.